Okay, we're rolling.
Okay.
McCall, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
What can you tell me about the brick house in Livingston?
My name is McCall Renauld, and my husband and I own a luxury vacation rental in downtown Livingston, Montana. It's called the Brickhouse Livingston, and it is a 1900 Victorian that we bought during COVID and renovated ourselves. So my husband did all of the hard labor, and I did all the design and some of the tile work. I dabble. And so, yeah, we renovated ourselves kind of in the fashion of a 1900s uh, Victorian with floral wallpaper and like fun um, tin ceiling tiles and trying to make it as authentic as possible. And now, yeah, now it's on Airbnb. And we also have www.thebrickhouselivingstonement.com if you want to book directly.
Okay.
But yeah.
And that was the vision when you bought it for it to be an Airbnb, or did you have other plans originally?
We we did have that vision. My parents live in Livingston. They've been there since 2011. And so we've spent a lot of time in Livingston. And when we were looking at, kind of diversifying and expanding, both my husband and I were working remotely, but we kind of had the feeling that that wouldn't necessarily last. Like during COVID, it was one thing, but then a lot of people started being asked to come back to the office. And so for me, I knew we didn't want to move away from Bozeman. So yeah, we originally bought it and renovated it to be a rental.
And what's the history of the building?
It's been a lot of things. It was a boarding house for the Northern Pacific Railroad. At one point, it was supposedly was a bakery and a hairdresser. There was a hairdresser shop.
Okay.
But it is very traditional, uh, turn of the century brick house, which is why we started referring to it as the brick house when we were, I'm like, okay, are you going to take the baby, or are you going to the brick house today? What are we doing? And so that's where it's very basic, but that's where the name came from.
And where in Livingston is it located?
It's on D and Calendar, just 2 blocks off of Main Street. And if you know where Foodworks or that little strip mall is, Foodworks is an amazing local grocer.
Okay.
It's like right across the street from Foodworks.
Yeah, there's so much cool history in Livingston.
Yeah. It was the first town in Montana to get sidewalks, paved sidewalks. And we have a photo of it in the brick house because I find it to be funny that it's dirt streets everywhere, but then they have paved sidewalks.
Nice.
None of the streets were paved, but the sidewalks were
The
there.
irony.
Yeah.
How many does the brick house sleep?
It's um it's a 3 bedroom, 3 bath, but it sleeps 8. One of the bedrooms has a king and also like two twins in it. It's kind of family room.
When primarily is it rented out year round? Is there a season it's most used for?
I mean, it is actually rented out all year. I would say our slow months are November and April, and we try to run a lot of specials for locals in those months. But in the summer, it's pretty much fully booked. And I know we were just briefly chatting about before the podcast about the wedding industry here, but we get a lot of people booking it who are guests at weddings in Paradise Valley, um, or the bride and groom want it for their honeymoon suite. People want to take pictures there. So yeah, we do also rent it for local companies and local brands to do photo shoots.
Okay.
Um, so we actually been pretty busy with that also.
Is there anything, if people do rent it, is there anything they should expect? You know, you guys have pretty cool Instagram with all kinds of pictures of different stuff. I mean, it seems like it in itself sets apart. Is there anything specific that sets the experience of it apart?
We really wanted to make it cool. I feel like when my husband and I we do travel a lot, and we've traveled a lot for a long time. And we always want to stay at somewhere unique and interesting. Like there's so many rentals and there's so many hotels that there really has to be something special about it to make me want to stay there. And so that's what I try to portray through the Instagram is like kind of bringing to life how it does feel like you're in old Livingston. So we tried to do there's like a rustic kind of French country kitchen. It's got brick floors and brick walls. Um, And I mean, the kitchen is a chef's kitchen. We've had some private chefs come and host dinners there. And it gives very like cozy old world. And then my favorite room is the library. So we put together floor to ceiling. I love books. I'm an avid reader. And when I'm a grown up, I want to be a writer someday.
I love when people say that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I grow up. And so there's a room that has floor to ceiling bookshelves, and we call it the library. It's my favorite room in the house.
Did you pick all the books?
I don't know if you remember, there was a antique store on Main Street, East Main Trading Company. It went out of business, and they auctioned off all of the books that they had, and they had a whole room full of books that were just on Montana history, and they were vintage books. And I bought all of the books for $250.
That's
I
awesome.
think I bought 5,000 books.
That was so cool.
I love to thrift, and it's probably my favorite thrift find that I've ever had.
And all these books are in that library.
So what's cool about it is a good portion of the books are actually about the West and Montana, and they're vintage books. So you can find some very interesting. There's a whole section on ladies of the night in old Montana.
Oh, that sounds so cool.
But yeah.
Is that the entire library, or is there additional books to those 5,000?
I actually probably ended up putting about 3,000 books in the library.
Okay.
But we kind of put books all around the house. It's kind of part of the theme. I love the idea. Someone on Instagram recently reached out about doing a writer's retreat there, or a reader's retreat. And I think it would be the perfect location for that, because we kind of have books as decor throughout the entire house.
Hi, folks. Quick note from me. If you don't already know, the goal of Mountain Mule Media is to build real connection between Montana's businesses and the people they serve. If this episode or any other has given you something worth thinking about, smiling at, or passing along, I've got a small ask. Share it with a friend, text it to someone, post it in your story. That one simple action helps these businesses get seen, grow, and thrive, and it helps this show keep going. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses. Now back to the show. That makes sense. And being in Livingston, that town's got so much character and history to it. It's probably a good place. And then having that location on top of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of known to be a hub for artists and writers and creatives. So there's lots of art galleries. I mean, a lot of famous authors, Montana authors, have come from that area.
If somebody does want to use it for a photo shoot or something like that, I'm assuming the website has pictures of everything there, what it looks like.
Yeah, so we have our website, but mostly people DM me on Instagram to book.
Okay.
Which is usually like how locals, I think, find out about us. And I've been surprised I don't know, just how many people have heard of it or seen the Instagram. So that's been it's kind of our only marketing channel, but it's been doing really well.
I will say, because when I had mentioned to a few people that you were doing this, they're like, yep, I know of it. So
I have actually been shocked how many people have like, oh yeah, we go to Livingston a lot. We have a rental property there. And they're like, oh, which rental property? And I'll say the Brickhouse, and they immediately are like, oh, I follow you on Instagram.
Very cool.
So it makes me feel good, because I'm like, that's me. There's not a marketing team. It's just me.
If somebody's going to rent your place, let's say they're coming for a wedding, or they're coming in the summer, maybe they're going to go fishing, do anything summer in Montana. Do you have any hot tips for them? Anything that makes their experience better?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there is obviously spend a couple days in the park, but I think there's a lot in Livingston and in Paradise Valley that's almost worth its own trip, or definitely spending a few days. I love horseback riding. Rockin' HK Outfitters is amazing. Yellowstone wood boat tours. You can have drinks and charcuterie while you're floating the Yellowstone River. There's lots of fishing guides, as you mentioned. That's another thing that I love doing. I do that with my dad. And I think going to Yellowstone Hot Springs, Chico Hot Springs, spending a day at the spa at Sage. It's like a personal favorite for relaxation. And then there's really good shopping and dining in Livingston. I love Campione. That's definitely make a reservation. But Second Street Bistro is amazing. And I think Yellowstone Valley Grill is another favorite, or the dining room at Chico if you want to go into the valley. And then for more casual, you got the Fainting Goat Pub. They have an amazing patio with the lights. It has a great ambiance. Or in the winter, they have a fireplace and you can sit right there in these leather chairs right by the fire. And then Engine Room Pizza is fairly new, but it's amazing. And I always leave there so stuffed. They have
Yeah,
deep dish.
I've had their pizza. It's very good.
It's really good.
Yeah,
Um, and then, I mean, I am excited to see what happens with Livingston Bar and Grill too. I think they're going through some interesting times, and I think we're going to see something really cool come out of that.
nice. And yeah, you're pretty walkable for most stuff that's downtown Livingston,
Yeah.
right there.
And that's, I think, one of the big benefits of staying at the Brickhouse is being able to be 2 blocks off of Main, go shopping, go to galleries, go to see live music at the Attic, and then just walk back.
Tell me the name of the outfitter for horseback riding.
There's Rockin' HK Outfitters.
I'm taking notes
Yeah.
for podcast guests.
Um, I mean, there are several. I'm trying to think. We also did, I don't want to butcher their name, but Beartooth Outfitters.
Okay. I feel
I
like
once did a pack trip.
I know I've heard that name before.
Okay. Bear Paw.
Okay.
Anyways, I would
Yeah,
have
we
to.
can get them later
Yeah.
too. I'll look. So what made you want to do this? It just
I would say I watched a lot of renovation HGTV shows back in circa like 2016. And then my husband and I, with our first house, it was actually, we bought a duplex and we renovated it and I did all the design. And I realized at first I hired a designer and then I actually dumped a ton of money into that and didn't feel like I don't know, I kind of was like, I could do this. I could do this myself. And so I did. So I did that design and the house. We actually had people like offer to buy it out from under us, which worked out because we ended up moving here to be closer to my parents. I was pregnant with our first child, and so we were like, okay, we're moving to Montana now. But I really kind of caught the bug. I feel like some people, if you do a renovation, it goes one of two ways. You're like, I'll never do that again, or you're like, when can I do that again?
yeah, that makes sense.
And so I've done a couple of flips. I've done some interior design, mostly for friends and family, but a couple of private clients here in Bozeman. And there's just a lot of fun. I love picking things out for people and helping people realize their vision.
Yeah, I could see that being fun, and it's probably a good way if you're an artist to express, your creative art, which I'd
Yeah.
imagine you look at a lot of it with the way you've designed that place.
And it's such a fun, like, experience. It's like experiential art kind of to make a room, make people feel something when they enter
And
a room.
do you live local here? You're in,
We live
okay,
in
you're local in
Bozeman.
Bozeman. Okay. And
Yeah.
then you've got that over there.
Yeah. But I think we had talked about doing it for a while, and then we saw this house and kind of immediately, I feel like when we immediately walked in, I knew exactly what I would do with it. I could envision almost all of the rooms, how I wanted them to look. And I don't know, it felt kind of like the house wanted to be brought back to life.
That's cool.
It had undergone a really bad renovation in like the 60s and had shag carpeting up the walls. There was a sunken tub in the master, which is where they like put the tub. They actually cut a structural beam in the floor to like sink their tub into the floor, and it had shag carpet like going up it. And it was like, anyway, it's a great, yeah, it's the before photos are really fun. I should post more of those. So anyways, it had gone through this renovation, but when we started to pull up the flooring and like the layers and layers of shag, we would realize like, oh, we want to put a wall here. There used to be a wall here. Or I know every time we would go through it and we would like undo what had happened to the house and put it back to its 1900s glory. I just felt like that's kind of what the house wanted.
That's very cool.
I realize that's very woo, but
no, I
could feel it.
I get it because I just wonder that about certain places where like,
Mm-hmm.
what was it originally? What was the energy there? And yeah, what what is it now,
Yeah.
for better or worse. But
Yeah.
that's cool. And I do think I've said it a couple times already. Livingston has a cool energy to it, and it's a vibe.
Yeah, we think so. It's a very special place.
And you said you have some other ventures you're thinking about doing.
Yeah, it's fairly new, but the Brickhouse is doing so well and it does seem to have such brand recognition, more so than I thought it would when I started doing it, that we've considered doing a Brickhouse Helena. I'm very interested in the Helena market. I mean, it's got Carroll College, it's the state capital. There's just a lot going on up there, and I love going to Helena. So we're actually going to look at some properties and considering doing another project there. And then my dream for a long time has been to do a property in Paradise Valley. So I don't know how much I should say about that just yet because we are currently working on, putting an offer on some land there. But we have dreams to do a lavender farm and wedding venue, cabins, etc.
Sweet. Well, if you do something, then we'll have a reason for you to come back and
Yeah,
share it
yeah.
when and if it happens.
We just imagine like rows of lavender leading up to Emigrant Peak. And my husband is Swiss. So my daughters have Swiss citizenship, and we spend a lot of time in Europe. We spend a lot of time in Provence, which is in the south of France, and just the rows and rows of lavender fields, if you can imagine.
It sounds, yeah.
Yeah, it's stunning.
And where are you from originally?
I'm from Portland, Oregon,
Okay.
originally. But my husband and I met in Chicago. We've lived in San Francisco, New Mexico, Vancouver, Canada. But my mom is from Billings.
Okay.
And so my whole mom side of the family is in Montana, which is great. Like my 95-year-old grandma lives here in Bozeman, and my aunt. I have another aunt in Big Sky and one in Missoula. And so we moved here to be closer to my parents who live in Livingston.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said she's from Billings
She's from
originally,
Billings
in
originally.
Livingston now.
Well, she moved to Portland when I was growing up because my dad's family is from Portland.
Nice.
But then they moved back here pretty much as soon as they could.
Okay. And then how long have you guys been back here again?
We moved in 2020.
Okay. That was my sister went to school here, and then it was 20 or 21. Her and her husband both went to school here. They both moved back 20 or 21, one or the other.
Yeah.
They just had their first kid, and I think they wanted to raise their kid here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we felt too. We got married here in 2017, and then we always kind of knew we're like, okay, eventually we're gonna come back here to raise our kids here, and we're so glad that we did.
Yeah, it's a great place to raise kids.
Yeah, our kids love it. Actually, it snowed for the first time yesterday, and this morning my girls woke up and they saw the dusting of snow on the mountains, and they go, "When can we go skiing?" My 4-year-old, it's like, "When can we go skiing?"
I saw it looked like
they're into it.
I don't know how much Bridger got, but I think they got
a lot.
Decent amount. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a good amount of rain, so it makes sense.
I mean, it snowed at our house yesterday. It didn't stick.
What part of town are you in?
We live on Sourdough.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live not far from there either, and it's like a little bit higher there, so we'll usually get more than there is in town. I didn't see any when I was up this morning. There was a full moon last night, and I saw all the moonlight, and I thought it was snow at first when I looked outside.
I saw the moonlight too, and I had that exact same experience.
Yeah, it was very funny. It was a full, very bright moon.
I even like peeked out to double check. I also thought it was snow on the ground.
Yeah, it won't be too long.
It won't be. It won't be long.
Cool. And your husband's here, and helps you with a lot of these projects. Sounds like he does renovating and stuff.
He does, and we met in engineering school. We both studied engineering undergrad, but I don't know, he's just an engineer at heart. He loves to tinker with things. So to his sometimes detriment, he'll be like, "Don't hire a plumber. I can do that." And I'm like, I know you can do that, but but you don't always have to do all the things. But yeah, he can do plumbing, electrical, framing, you name it. But he's actually working on a tech startup in Bozeman right now.
Nice.
Like AI, robotics. He's very smart.
I have the same issue with doing a lot of things myself.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up on a farm.
There you go.
And it was very much, that was what we needed to do.
Yeah.
But sometimes I will ask myself, I'm like, why? Why? And I'm in too deep now.
Yeah. I have to be that person to ask him. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Can't we hire someone to do this? And he's like, no, I can do it myself. And it is true that the cost of doing renovations here is pretty outlandish,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So,
I go back and forth. I just built a, I think, very nice kitchen table, and
oh, I love that for you.
it's done now. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, what's driving me crazy is I could have bought this pre-made probably for less and had all the time back. And I had to accept that that's the world that we live in now in a lot of ways. So
That's tough.
I enjoyed making it though. So
There you
I'm
go.
fine with it, but I don't know, it is, some things are so efficient to do. And
Well, and
people
then
that,
you have something unique too, something that you see and you're like, I built that. I do love when I'm decorating to use like local woodworkers, especially for things like dining tables. You get them custom, and there's this guy that I love who I will put in the show notes in Belgrade, and he's made a couple of tables for me
okay.
that I love. But
What's his name?
I will get
Okay. We'll put
them
it in there.
in the
Yeah.
show notes.
Perfect.
I haven't ordered a table from him in a minute,
I
but
do that all the time. So
I know
don't
I
feel
actually
bad.
have a terrible memory since having 2 kids in 2 years. Like, left the
Yeah. I'd
building.
imagine you have a lot of, um, there's a lot of bandwidth that's
Yeah.
needed for the kids. So that makes sense.
It is. There's a lot of
Yeah.
I know in my mental cache, I need to clear it. But yeah, that, and I would also say thrifting decor around here is really good also.
Yeah.
There's
That makes
really
sense.
there's really great antiques, there's really great thrift stores in the area. So one of the other things I think that's unique about staying at the Brick House is we've pretty much filled it with actual antiques. And there's a lot of, I don't know, Northern Pacific Railroad things and old photos of Livingston. So we tried to make it feel really authentic and really lived in. And I think that that's something that you don't get in most rentals because it's all new. It all came from Crate and Barrel or wherever. But in the Brick House, you have vintage light fixtures. One of them actually even came from Facebook Marketplace in France.
Oh, very
One of
cool.
the light fixtures. Most of the antiques were sourced on local Facebook Marketplace. But I feel like there's something about being in like a lived-in space that makes you feel extra cozy.
It's a vibe. I know my fiance would say a drywall palace.
Yeah.
That's what that's what she doesn't want anything to ever look like. So
Yeah.
I completely get what you're talking about and what she's saying when she says that.
It's an interesting juxtaposition here in Bozeman because there's so many cool old, like unrenovated houses, and then there's a lot of new builds, which just, I don't know, feel very sterile.
Yeah.
So, but there's a lot you can do even in your new build to make it feel cozy.
Thank you for using juxtaposition. I love that word.
Oh yeah.
When it's put in the right place.
I feel like so much of life is a juxtaposition.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the modern, 2025 Bozeman, and then there's so much history and character, and
Yeah.
and then I don't know, there's the blend everywhere too,
Yeah.
which
I mean, I think that's the sweet spot is when you can take, like we have put in very modern bathrooms, but you're juxtaposing like a old brick wall with like modern light fixtures or something like that. So it's fun to play with. That's my favorite style, is to play with.
yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Has this business taught you anything, or having this, that you didn't know about yourself or in general? Have you always had this business approach to things, or you'd been working for other people?
I mostly worked for other people, but I was a bad employee, I would say. Not actually. Like I would get good performance reviews, etc. But I feel like, I don't know, my loyalty has always been to myself and my family and doing more creative ventures. So I think I was always that employee that in the back of my mind was always planning what I was going to do next, and where I was going to move next. So I would say, let's see, I feel like I've learned a lot. And one thing that I've learned repeatedly but haven't internalized, because I'm clearly open to doing another project, is that it's always harder than you think it's going to be. You always think it's going to be simple. And like I told you, I walked in and I knew exactly what I would do. But getting from where it was to that vision, there's always longer and harder than you think.
I've learned that as well, and my fiance would vouch for this. I'll look at a project and say, "Yep, I'll have that done in an hour, or that'll be a week." It's more advantageous if I just double my estimate, because then I look like I've really got things done. But it happens a lot. It's just there's more complexity when you uncover things. And
Yeah, exactly. And it took us 18 months to renovate the brick house, and we were doing it mostly ourselves, and we had a 1-year-old. and I was pregnant with our second at the time. So there was a lot. And my husband was working full time remotely, but sometimes he would take conference calls like while he was working
Nice.
on his AirPods. But it did take, I was always like, why can't this go faster? I want this to go faster. But, and we renovated it ourselves, almost not even going in intending to do that. But it was hard to find, hard to find people to help.
Yeah, it's busy out here, and people are booked out for a while.
It's so busy. And then a lot, to a certain extent, most people who are worth their salt are also really expensive, which I totally get and respect. But we were, on a tight budget and sort of tight timeline. We also had a couple of people that like, like our roofer basically scammed us and wasn't actually a roofer and didn't actually do it. So my husband had to finish doing it. So there was a certain tipping point where we were like, okay, we're over this. We're just going to get it done.
Yeah.
And luckily, my husband has the skills to be able to actually do that.
Yeah, that's very handy. I do a lot of our fleet maintenance for my transportation company. And
Yeah.
I have mechanic background from the farm. And it's not that I want to or necessarily have the time, but it could be weeks or months to get vehicles into shop. So if I have the capability, which most of the stuff I do it because a little bit out of necessity.
And I feel like that's a Montana value too, is
Yeah.
to just roll up your sleeves.
Yeah, that's definitely like what I've picked up from being here and the way people are. And I appreciate it growing up on a farm because it's just figure out a way to get things done. We got animals to feed. We got feet and feet of snow coming, and we
Yeah.
can't just kind of sit around and wait for someone to show up.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Anything else you got planned? It sounds like possibly Helena, possibly Paradise Valley. You're raising 2 kids.
Raising 2 kids. I also have a fiction novel in the works, but we'll have to see how much time I have to work on that. I was like, that's going to be my winter project. So it sounds so cozy to be able to finally sit down and write. But yeah, we will see.
Yeah, it's very cool what you got going on. And I'm excited to share this with clients that we have coming to town and family. My mother stayed in the Murray Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
She swears that it's haunted and she saw a ghost in there. She swears she saw a ghost.
Hopefully it was friendly.
Yeah, she said it was a good experience.
Oh,
but
good.
Just throwing it out there.
My mother has seen a ghost there's a supposedly a haunted hotel up by Glacier.
Okay.
She also said that she
Okay.
saw a ghost. We don't think that there are any ghosts at the Brickhouse, but if they are, they definitely have good vibes.
Yeah. They're probably happy you got the shag.
They're happy. Yeah. They're happy that we reinforced the sinking floor where they had cut that structural member.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then if you're going to have a bathtub on top of it full of water, that's a lot of load bearing.
The entire house was basically sinking, and my husband had to go into the basement and jack it up.
Nice.
From that. Yeah.
That's
they
very
did
cool.
Crazy stuff in the 60s.
Okay. So website is...
So yeah, if you book on Airbnb, they charge actually really high fees nowadays. Not to us, we don't pay that. The guest pays it.
Yep.
So it's cheaper if people want to book directly to go to www.thebrickhouselivingstonmt.com. But you can also book, Airbnb, VRBO. I'm trying to think. I think we're on a couple others too.
And you've got the Instagram page. That's where all the action is.
Yeah, exactly. Check us out. It's just the Brickhouse Livingston on Instagram. And also easy to DM me if you want to book that way too. I can set you up.
Cool. Well, appreciate you doing this and excited to share this with some people.
Thank you. This was fun. I never get to go on podcasts.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you. Thanks for listening, folks. You can find the full blog post for every episode along with key takeaways and links at mountain-mule.com. If you haven't yet, consider following the show. That one small action helps these Montana businesses get seen, grow, and thrive, and it helps this podcast keep going too. If you know a business that would be a good fit for the show, we'd love to hear from you. Just reach out through the website or social. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses. See you on the next show.